Hi guys, and welcome back. First of all, I would love to mention the fact that since the last video, I've gained 1 subscriber. And whoever that is, hello. This is basically an update because, in my last video, I was talking about THC and Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, and in the video I mentioned that my doctor said that within 10 days to 2 weeks I would start feeling better. And I have. Don't get me wrong, I have started feeling better. Oh, yeah, I got new glasses. They're pretty. Anyway, I have started to feel better. But there have been other complications that have come along with the syndrome. First of all, my immune system's kind of tanked. And the urinary tract infection that I had after they gave me more antibiotics. My doctor did another urinalysis and found out, oh yeah, you also have a kidney infection. And we think you have a yeast infection. And again, this video may be TMI for a lot of people, but like I said, Cannabinoid Hyperemesis CHS is such a rare condition that I feel like it needs to be out there for whoever's actually watching it. Turns out that because of my immune system taking such a big hit, I not only had a urinary tract infection, I had a kidney infection, and I had a yeast infection. And I ended up calling my doctor back a few days later after I had finished one of my antibiotics. And I told him, I was like, I'm still having like really bad gastrointestinal distress. It's completely liquid, you know. I know that might be TMI. Nothing's working. I can't take Pepto anymore. Imodium does nothing, you know. So he sent me a prescription for it, you know. And he went back after I got off the phone with him and he called it that medicine. And even his nurse said that he was so sorry for missing it, but they went back because when I get a yearly physical because of all my health problems, I always have to get blood tests, urine samples, and stool samples and stuff like that. Well, when I got sick, they wanted all of that again, and he went back and compared the results from the previous test that I had had from before I got sick and found out that I not only had a urinary, a kidney, and a yeast infection, but I also had a intestinal infection, which that's not something people get every day, you know. And I'm gonna tell you something. With everything that was riding with this, I was still like, I was in pain still. I was still having moments of like complete confusion. The sheer amount of medicines I'm on it's terrible, because when I have to fill up my pill container, you can't see the bottom of my pill container, and I've got like, I bought this for myself because I got my daytime and my nighttime medicines, and like my daytime medicines, I'm going to show you this, so this might be a little weird for you to look at. Now, keep in mind, I'm showing you this now, and I have come off 4 medications now. So you can see that inside the container is absolutely just full of pills. The problem is that this is not actually all the pills that I take. He sent me in another antibiotic that I'm still having to currently take. But good news, because like I said, he told me within 10 days to 2 weeks I'd start feeling better. It has been a week, and I'm posting this video today. Today is the 18th. I will get it uploaded today. It's going to take a while, but I will get it uploaded today so that way it's accurate and up to date. It has been a week since I have thrown up. I have everything that I need in order to stay hydrated. I have water. I have my sparkling ices, which is literally nothing but water and carbonation. There's no aspartame, no sugar, caffeine free. You know, it's just basically it's sparkling water with a little flavor. And then of course I've got my Gatorades, and I found these that I absolutely love. This is Gatorade Rapid Rehydration, and then we have Gator Fit, which is Healthy Real Hydration, and they're relatively cheap. And then of course I have my regular Gatorades that I drink, and my regular waters. I also use green tea once or twice a day to help with digestion, because green tea is really great for digestion. My stepmom wanted me to get this hibiscus and berry infused cold tea, but I can't use it because I can't use anything that has berries in it, which is unfortunate. That, and I really don't like cold tea that's sweet, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's been a week since I've thrown up, and I am going to say this, and I hope nobody watching me actually has this syndrome, but if you know that somebody does, the biggest concern the nurse and the doctors had was not my hydration, because I told them about everything that I have to stay hydrated. And not only that, I have my lotions that go really deep. I take several showers, so it keeps me hydrated. I get cotton mouth really bad, but that's because of the sheer amount of medicines I take. We have found a series of food that I can eat and keep down that also help give me the vitamins and the nutrients that I need. First and foremost, what they say about Cheerios, it's fucking for real. Because we went through, after I got that phone call, me and my husband got online and we started searching. Like, what does a woman need on a daily basis, of vitamins and minerals in order to stay healthy in a day and in a week? Turns out, if you have a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, which we knew I could keep down because that was one of the things they gave me in the hospital was Cheerios to munch on. And I'm lactose intolerant, so I have to use lactate milk. Because I hate almond milk and I hate soy milk. It's just, some people like it. I'm not one of them. Soy milk is disgusting. Wow, my eyebrow looks really fucked up. So, Cheerios in the morning, that's a big thing. That's a really big thing because that gets a lot of vitamins and nutrients in. Especially if you're using, because like lactate has, I think it said more iron in it, or is it more zinc? I can't remember. But anyway, and for lunch, I eat bland-ass turkey sandwiches, and I put just a little bit of mustard on it, just a tiny little bit, just a little smear, just for a little bit of flavor, because I can't eat ham. I can't heat ham down because it's too heavy. And it takes me about an hour to eat the sandwich because I'll cut it in half. But I can keep it down. And then for dinner, we have found that I can eat, you know, the kids' Walmart brand condensed chicken noodle soup. I can eat that. I gotta take it slowly, but the broth really helps because it's warm. Or my husband has found that if he takes, we eat jasmine rice. We don't eat just regular white rice. We fell in love with jasmine rice when we went to Arkansas to meet with his Filipino side of the family. Sorry if the camera's shaking again. I have a tripod on the way, but you're still standing on like 20 boxes of switch cases. He'll make me some jasmine rice, and of course there's no salt, no butter. I can't even eat black pepper because I'm still on a very, very strict diet. So it's bland ass rice, and then we use canned chicken for this in particular because it's fully cooked. And instead of cooking it in a pan where there would be oil, he just heats it in the microwave, and then he puts it in the pot with the rice, and then mixes it up really good, and he gives it to me. And he makes me eat it. He makes me eat it with chopsticks, so that way I'll eat it slowly. Which I love my breakfast and lunches, but I really am tired of eating such bland ass dinners. But I can keep them down. And like I said, this is basically an update because Doc said 10 days, 2 weeks, you'll be feeling better. I still deal with minimal belly spasms. They still happen. I still have really bad problems with bloating and gas. I have to rely on the Phazyme sometimes. Not every day now, luckily, though. So there's that. And yeah, girl had manic moment, and I cut my hair. I've actually had several manic moments. As a matter of fact, when I got off the phone with the doctor and he told me that I had another infection to add on to the latter, as soon as I hung up the phone, I started immediately panicking. I was overwhelmed. I started crying. And the only other person that was in the house, other than my son, who was thankfully asleep at the time because he doesn't deal well when I'm in the midst of a panic attack. Because, like I said, me and Matthew are both autistic. But Matthew's 11. And while he's extremely intelligent, he is emotionally stunted. And they said that's because he is so smart. So I went to my mom, and I could barely coherently speak, but she could tell from my face that something was going on. I was freaking out. I was about to have a panic attack. I was hyperventilating. I got an alfalfa thing going on. Lay down. Okay. And it took like a good 30 minutes to just get me to a point where I was calm enough to be able to actually tell her what was going on. And the story of my mom is for another day. That's for another day. My mom wasn't always in my life, but she loved us just the same. But that's a story for another day. But my mom has always told me that, that I'm one of the strongest people she knows, because it doesn't matter how many times I get sick, how close I get to death, and I have beat the odds of dying many, many, many times. Not just with the cancer, but when I was in the hospital after my first back surgery, they gave me a mixture of codeine and morphine, and I am lethally allergic to codeine. I have been so sick in the hospital that my heart rate was starting to drop. Not just my blood pressure, but my heart rate was starting to drop. I've actually got this picture in my head that I want to draw of like Death with his scythe and his robe and everything, just kind of leaning on an armchair, just kind of fucking waiting in the corner, like I'm eventually gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. But I keep defeating it. And it's just it's been a lot, and I'm still dealing with some symptoms. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the worst one is the fact that no matter what I eat, I'm not throwing up. No matter what I eat, no matter how solid it is, and like I said, it's TMI, but I'm just being for real here. The diarrhea is a constant ongoing thing. There have been moments where I have had to sit in my chair when my stomach starts bubbling, and I have to stop. Like, I have to sit and wait for, like, things to calm down, or I'm gonna shit myself. And like I said, I'm being completely honest here. I did it in town one day. I was walking, and it hit me, in a split second, and I was not sitting down, and I just straight up shit myself. I'm not kidding. And let me tell you how bad my immune system actually is. I tried to have this time frame where I was like, I'm gonna put, like, the armor that I normally wore against my family, which would be my, like, earrings and stuff like that, my rings and shit like that. That's my armor, is my style. So I had, like, all my earrings in, because I've got, like, 4 in this ear and 3 in this ear, my nose ring, 2 nose rings, belly button ring, all that anyway. I put all my earrings in, and I got thinking about the fact, oh, my ears, the second holes, and I don't know why it's always the second hole, particularly on this ear, gets infected, like, really fast. Even if I'm using surgical steel earrings, sterling silver, doesn't matter, it's going to get infected. I was like, okay, I probably need to take these out. And it was too late. It had already gotten infected. The IV that they put in my hand when I was actually admitted to the hospital. Sorry, I'm doing it again. Camera's over here. Yeah, that still happens from time to time. It is only just now healing. It has been 2 weeks since I have been out of the hospital. Actually, it's been probably a little more than that, because I don't know how long I was out of the hospital before I made the THC video 2 weeks ago. But it was scabbed up for so long, and it would not heal, and of course now I have a scar from it, because it wouldn't heal. It just simply would not heal. I have finally come off some of my medications. I'm not looking at, like, 9 bottles sitting on my little shelf over there. I mean, I got my regular medicines that are up there, which is like 10 of them, but that's neither here nor there. The temporary medications, I've come off a couple of them. I'm still on one more antibiotic, but I know that once that antibiotic's done, I'm going to have to call my doctor back and say, hey, I need the pink pill for yeast infections again, because antibiotics in general give me yeast infections. Let's see, what else? I did find out that this can be sporadic, but it can also be genetic. Because we had to go rescue my mom one day. And this was years ago. Years and years ago. She had went to a friend's house, and she'd smoked a little pot with them. And while I had mostly physical symptoms and minor mental symptoms from it, my mom went completely mental. Like, we thought we were going to have to take her to the hospital. She was in a constant panic. She recognized nobody. She was scared of everything. She went completely mental. So we had to go rescue her. So we've come to the conclusion that, maybe if it is genetic and my mom can't smoke pot and I can't smoke pot, maybe this is what she has too, is Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome. But yeah, we've found a series of foods, and that this is a tip. Cheerios are easy to keep down. They have a lot of vitamins, a lot of nutrients in them. Hot showers help. They help a lot. Soda heating pads, not hot, but warm. Directly on the belly. I've had to do physical therapy in the past because of my back. and doing some of the exercises that help with, like, you know how when you do like baby yoga to get them, you know, to fart, and you get them to like move gas around and stuff like that. Yeah, I've had to do that to myself. You know, I've done like my belly exercises to help get some of the gas out and stuff like that. I feel a little stronger. I still get really tired really fast because I'm still really weak. My immune system is not top notch. And I got desperate and I went to my pharmacist. And I have been using the same pharmacy for years now. So the pharmacist knows me. Okay? So I told him everything that was going on. And he said that while he was sorry he could not help me more, he insisted that I pick up, and he gave it to me, a bottle of Super C. And that's like vitamin C. Super C. And of course it had zinc and stuff in it that, you know. But he said he insisted on me getting a bottle of that to help kind of like give my immune system a little leg up a little bit, to kind of help combat the bacteria, you know, the digestion, the shit that's in my belly that's not supposed to be there, and fight off some of the infections and stuff, and hopefully make me feel better, because I can't drink orange juice, and I can't eat oranges, I can't eat tomatoes, because pretty much everything on my no-no list is stuff like berries, because most all of your berries are going to be natural antioxidant laxatives. Blueberries in particular. No tomatoes because they're too acidic. No oranges or lemons or limes, citrus fruits, grapefruits, you know, things like that, because they are too acidic. And my stomach is having enough problems digesting, which is kind of where the green tea comes in, to help with that kind of thing. And let's see, what else was there that I was going to say? There's a lot of tests that have to be run in order to be able to diagnose this kind of thing. I had x-rays, CTs, MRIs done, and like I said in the last video, this is an extremely rare disorder, but it's worth it for me to make these videos that a lot of people are going to be thinking like, oh my god, why is she posting this disgusting, symptomatic, you know, talking about diarrhea and vomiting kind of things? Like, because people need to know. Okay? It's rare, yes, but to be fair, back in the 90s, so was autism. Okay? I got diagnosed with autism as an adult, which means I've had it my whole life, which means that was part of my problem when I was a kid. You know, so it's rare. I think they said only from what I've been able to research, about 6% of the population even has it, or that they've been able to discover and detect. It could be more. It's just what they've been able to detect. And it's just, there's a lot of points that need to be made about this video. I mean, about this syndrome. But if you know somebody who has been using THC or weed for such a long time, let them know that using, and the thing is that you can use pot one time and not know you have the syndrome. You can use it for 20 years, and then all of a sudden your body will just start rejecting it. And that's part of the syndrome. You don't know when it's going to set in. It typically happens with people who have used it for long periods of time, but it can happen in people who have only used it once or twice. So if you know somebody who is having these kinds of problems, and I'm not talking about like, it seems like the flu kind of thing, because I'm going to tell you something, I had no body aches. You know how like with the flu, you get the body aches, the headaches, stuff. No, there was none of that. Okay? Because when I got to the hospital, they started asking me the first time I went to the hospital. They started asking me, do you think this is the flu? And I was like, no, I have no other flu symptoms. She's like, well, do you want to be swabbed for the flu? I was like, sure, you can swab for the flu, but this ain't the flu. So they swabbed me for the flu. It wasn't the flu. So they did what they could. They gave me a second time I went to the hospital. I just went ahead and nipped it in the bud, and I was like, I don't have the flu. I've been tested. There's no way I'm pregnant. I had a hysterectomy. I don't have a cold. It's not a sinus infection. I don't have a stomach flu. This is something else. Well, they did what they could. They gave me some IV. They gave me some morphine. They gave me some Zofran. They sent me home. That's when I went to the doctor and all that shit. So in the midst of battling all of the infections, I have had a few breakdowns. Because, well, let's be honest, you know, if you've watched many of my videos, which I know I only have 34 subscribers now, you'll know that I do have a couple of screw looses up here, and I have to see a therapist and a psychiatrist. I'm not crazy or anything. I deal with a lot of depression and anxiety, mostly. My sister-in-law has been a big help. In a different way. And it's just, it's a lot. And if you're interested in learning more about Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, you can leave a comment down in the comment section. I will answer any questions that you have or make another video about it if there's like a multitude of questions, or just go look it up for yourself. I will even title this video Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, so that way you can easily copy and paste it and Google it and find out for yourself exactly how bad this is. It seems like the gastrointestinal distress is really what's going to be holding me for a couple of months, along with some of the belly spasms still hang around. The headaches are still pretty prominent, and I have these moments of confusion. I will say this, and this is important for me to say, so I want you to listen to me very closely. I only go to 2 vape shops. One is really close to my house. They don't have a lot of vape. Vape juices. They carry like quite a few big name brands, but the only ones that I like are the ones that I used to buy from 8 Vape. And this other place that I go to, which again, I'm not gonna say their name because I don't want their name dirtied or anything like that, because they are such good people. They make sure their stuff is good, it's clear, it's good stuff. Okay? As a matter of fact, the owner, when he found out that there was a particular ingredient that was used in making pastry flavors that was dangerous, he pulled every single one of his flavors that had anything to do with pastry, breading, or muffin flavors and stuff like that. He pulled them all, removed the, remade the batches. If it did not taste right, he eliminated it. If he could fix it without that particular ingredient, he would re-release it. Okay? They are very thorough and very safe. But they do prepare their own like rolls, and you can smell the weed in the air. And they sell the mushrooms that are legal to use, stuff you can forage and stuff like that. Even in the middle of the room, they have like a humidifier that actually is growing like these mushrooms and stuff. But just going in there, and I was going in there just for juice because I was low. Just being in there and smelling it, one side of the store is just juice, the other side is all the hemp stuff. But they keep the merchandise on that side of the store, as far as like the resin stuff that's made, the self-defense thingies that are made out of resin, They make really cool earrings out of resin and stuff like that, and they have these like crystal necklaces and stuff that my son loves. So I wanted to go over there and see if they had anything else. You know, I noticed there was one with my birthstone in it, and then I started feeling funny. And I got in the car with Mom, and she noticed I was a little off, and I was like, I'm okay. I'm alright. It's just, my head feels weird. So I got us to Walmart. And she knew that I looked a little worse, apparently. Because she looked at me, she's like, baby, are you sure you're going to be okay? And I sat there and I was like, yeah, I'm alright. And I got to think about it. I was like, I'm confused. And my vision's blurry. And I feel like I'm about to throw up. And I was like, you know what? No. Pride set aside. No, Mama, I'm not okay. And I handed her the keys. We went into Walmart, got the one thing we fucking needed, and we got the hell out. And she took me home. So just going into the shop, and this has no fault on the shop. Absolutely no fault on the shop. Just going in the shop and smelling the weed, the hemp, the edibles, the stuff like that, the mushrooms, I guess, like, kind of, like, irritated the THC that was already in my system. The symptoms that I was already dealing with irritated it. And for, like, the next 2 days, I was ill all over again. Like, I thought I was going to end up in the hospital again kind of situation. But, for now, if I have missed anything that you want to know about, leave a comment down below. Please hit the subscribe button. I love making these videos. Like I said, it's not really a job for me. It's a hobby. I love posting content. My stepdad loves watching them. Doesn't matter what it's about. And honestly, apparently 34 people like it, and I got 32 views on the last video. So, I mean, somebody's liking it, but you know, this is a hobby for me. This is one of the hobbies that I enjoy, and I may post some art videos. I am definitely going to be posting some videos about my pitcher plants, though, because I have somehow ended up with, I not only have the Atlas pitcher plants growing, and they are so big and so heavy, and they have taken over the pot, that I went and bought this big basin, basically, that's like arm span length. And I'm preparing the soil, because the soil for carnivorous plants has to be handmade. You have to pick and choose. There cannot be any minerals in it. I'm going to transplant them. But I ended up somehow growing Venchies, I think is how it's pronounced. Pitcher plants that are called Venchies. They have little spinies down the front, and their little heads are already open as babies, and they're really fuzzy. And they're cute, but I think I'm going to leave them in a little pot and let them get bigger, because it's not the right time of year to be transplanting carnivorous plants. But I don't really have a choice with the bigger pitcher plants, because they are so big that they are like, they're reaching for things to grow on. As a matter of fact, the one that I actually had to stake into the ground or in the soil so that way it would stand up, I didn't take into consideration that as the plant grew up and the string that was attached to it, that was the stake, it basically grew up and pulled the stake out of the soil. And then it just kind of fell over. And I was like, oh God, my babies. But anyway, I will see you guys later. I love you all. I love making these videos, and I'll see you later. Bye.